Blessings upon all my AkHis and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Split Decision. Episode 24 is a boxing debate / talk show. In the red corner, of course, we had 24 episodes, 24 fights, and AkHi still undefeated, pound for pound #1. In the blue corner, the one and only, the man with all the knowledge, a real life professor, no other than.
You know what it is, 3P, Professor Nims, pundit with the PhD in pugilism. I think I need to also get another P. I need to be a psychologist because you're a little delusional over there. You I don't know, you looking
man.
like Deontay.
I think that shocked you like Fury because I'll be telling you what I'm going to say and preach exactly what I do. So with that being said, match.
All right, next topic.
Next topic is the topic of the night, and that's Deontay Wilder is the last Black American hope, according to Larry Merchant.
Larry Merchant.
Man, Larry Merchant was on PBC, and shockingly, because he was hating on Al Heyman, claiming PBC is the cancer of the sport. Jim Lampley was preaching that and old media. So with that being said, just based on them comments alone, I want you to first of all get your take on this, and then I'll speak on it. And it's going to be a back and forth because you already know this is the topic of the night.
So he said I saw, did he say last American Black Hope or last Black Hope?
Well, I hope he didn't say last Black Hope because that don't even make sense. Because in order for there to be hope, there need to be no chance. The main dominant fighters in the game are Black. So that don't even make sense. So he said last American Black Hope in the heavyweight division.
In the heavyweight division.
So what's your take on that, Professor Nam? Preach.
So, Larry Merchant has a way with words. Sometimes it can be eloquent. Sometimes he has a way of kind of putting his foot in his mouth. But if I do kind of stand back and just kind of be objective and not think about how or look at it from a lens where I could find it offensive. When I look at American Black heavyweights right now, I don't see a very kind of healthy crop of fighters coming up. But it's not like I've been going to like all the amateur bouts and like looking at it and just kind of seeing. I'm just seeing just basically the kind of like top 200 ranked heavyweights and how many are Black American heavyweights. And there are not any, we saw a couple and who are the kind of the supposed to be top, some of the top ones. And that was Charles Martin against Washington. And they are terrible to me, but they're American Black heavyweights. And then we saw what happened to Dominic Brazil. He got kind of wasted. And you have like the kind of smaller heavyweights that are kind of like coming up. But I'm not sure if anybody at this point is a threat to the crown except for Deontay Wilder. I don't think it's the last hope. I don't understand that kind of
well, we know where it's coming from.
It.
I mean, Larry during that interview, he said he been smiling ever since.
Yeah, he was so happy.
What are you saying?
He said that he woke up in the morning was just like, I was smiling Sunday morning and
I've been smiling ever since. So I just want to touch on, first of all, for you to say Black American hope. I thought we were all Americans. So why don't you say he was the last American hope? Why you have to use Black American? Because let me explain to the viewers, because Dante Boxing Nation dropped a great video on that. Go check it out. White hope got created. This term got created when Jack Johnson was knocking out everyone back in the day.
Exactly.
So they wanted
Jim
a white
Jeffries,
hope to be like, you know what, man, because we tired of Jack Johnson just knocking out everyone. So they dragged Jim Jeffries out of retirement. They were like, you the white hope, come save the day. Because he done knocked out everyone for like 7 years. He was reigning champ. Back in the day, it was like 32 rounds almost. It's like there's no split decision. You had to either knock your opponent out or be knocked out. So with that being said, Jim Joffrey came out of retirement, and Jack Johnson knocked his ass out as well. So that's why
gave him the business. So this was the first like televised bout ever. It was
so
crazy.
the white hope term got created because boxing have been dominated from one certain group, and that certain group is the coincidentalist. That's what we preach. So with that being said, for you to say Black Hope when every great have been from this group that you trying to label as Black Hope. So we talking about Joe Louis, Jack Johnson. We talking about Sugar Ray Robertson. We talking about Muhammad Ali. We talking about Mike Tyson, Roy Jones. And the list goes on and on and on to Floyd Mayweather today, to Crawford, to Errol Spence. All these fighters, not named Crawford or Errol Spence because they still have to prove themselves. All these other fighters I named are arguably on the top 10 pound for pound of all time. So for you to say Black Hope, like they need hope, that don't make sense, because at the end of the day, they have all the talent. They still the most dominant in the game. But it's just show you that, man, he been waiting on this day. Rocky actually came to fruition. This fight, that's why he was smiling. So, like, for Larry to make them statements shocked me, because, like, as an intelligent man as he is, he know better. But he also the same man that said, if I was 50 years younger, he would have beat Mayweather. So we know he capping. But with that being said, like I said, we already know boxing is a sport that's a lot of pride involved, there's race involved, et cetera, but for Larry to say Black American, like we all not Americans, why you have to categorize a certain group? Because you have to keep in mind, I'm a citizen, Professor Nim is citizen. You see the eagle over there, this is the Yemeni eagle, because this is where my parents from. So I'm considered as American, right? Arab American. But at the end of the day, they call me AkHi. You could call me Arab baby, whatever you want to call it. But we don't call white people British American. So why are we going to label, Black people Black American? Oh, it's not like Deontay Wilder is not fighting for the United States. That's why Muhammad Ali went to the Olympics and threw away the gold medal. Go do y'all research on that, since everybody believe in Google. Till this day, we have guys like Larry Merchant
to this day
bringing up, talking about Black Hope, trying to get back for the white hope, but that's a term y'all created because y'all were looking for it. Ain't nobody looking for no Black Hope, because all the talent in all the weight divisions are mainly Black. And keep in mind, Tyson Fury, yes, he's white, but he's not Hispanic. He's not from the United States. So for you to say, the last Black Hope, like, Tyson Fury was from the United States. No, like Tyson Fury is from a whole different country. He from the UK, and we already know there's another champion over there that's also Black, and that's Anthony Joshua. But in the UK, there's not as much racism as it is in the United States, because Wilder was getting booed in Las Vegas against Tyson Fury, and I know all of them wasn't just Tyson Fury fans all of a sudden, because his last fight he sold like 3,000 tickets. His other fight before that he sold 5,000 tickets. So out of nowhere, the whole stadium is packed cheering his name, booing Deontay Wilder. It sounds like Deontay Wilder haters to me. The only fighter that get booed is in his own country, like Floyd Mayweather did every single time. But like I said, watch when Tyson Fury fights Anthony Joshua in the UK, if that happened. Watch, because things happen for a reason, guys. I truly believe in that. So watch when that fight happen. It's going to show a perfect example of no racism in the UK, almost none. Because
I wouldn't
people
say that. I wouldn't say that.
Well, I'm just saying they're going to be preaching for. They're going to be.
There's a Muslim culture that they. So I don't say like no racism.
I don't want to say no racism at all, but less than the U.S. Okay, correction. Yeah, appreciate you for correcting me on that, because they're going to be cheering for AJ. They don't care about the color of the skin. When you see babies, they're all playing around. The only racism only get involved when the father come into play and be like, yo, don't play with him because of his skin color. So like I said, in order to change, we have to quit being insecure. Man, go watch Get Out or something, Larry. You know.
With that said, before we, if y'all, first of all, if y'all don't know about Jack Johnson, please look him up. It's the first Black American heavyweight champion of the world. There's a beautiful documentary that you can probably find online. It's called Unforgivable Blackness, The Rise and Fall of Jack Johnson. It was done by Ken Burns, who's just a terrific documentary filmmaker. I use it sometimes for some of my courses. I teach some courses in like introduction to filmmaking, but I also teach diversity and equity, which is a good topic for it too. So just a little teaching moment. Unforgivable Blackness, Ken Burns, great documentary.
Know your history. Know your history. That's for sure. That's why I love Muhammad Ali, because he changed the way people looked at boxing, because he was just a public figure where he spoke on everything. Everything. Like if something that was taking place in China, and I'm not talking about the disease that's going around, he will have spoke on it. But we don't see athletes today speaking on that, because not everybody is cut from the same cloth as Muhammad Ali. And that's why y'all see his star rising up in Hollywood. All the Hollywood stars is on the ground. But Muhammad Ali stands for the highest, the greatest, right? His star is on the wall. It's not on the ground, because you don't step on Muhammad's name, because that's the prophet name. That's why he don't want to put it on the ground. So at the end of the day, if you believe in God, if you're being truthful, God will always be on the lookout for you. And if you got God on your side and on your corner, then you're going to be, nobody going to be able to mess with you, period. So with that being said, I have a caller on the phone. So let me connect it to the studio. Israel Rap. I promised him yesterday during the live while we was interviewing David Morrell.
Morrell Jr.
David Morrell Jr. That we was going to call him back when it comes to the subject. He's on the phone line. How you doing, Real Rap? Talk to me. Can you hear me?
What's good? Yeah, what's good with it? What's good? Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, so you heard us. So go ahead, start preaching, because I just want to get your take on it, and I promised you yesterday. So Real Rap. Go ahead, freestyle. Let them know what time it is.
On the Larry Merchant situation.
Yeah, that's what we on right now. The Larry Merchant comment.
All right, for sure. I mean, basically, Larry Merchant, he wrong, bro. Like, matter of fact, Larry Merchant remind me of the cat. Like, y'all seen the movie Trading Places? You know what I'm saying? Like when when the big boss got his just do at the end and went broke. Like that's what Larry Merchant feel to me right now. Like he looking for attention. HBO done hit the HBO done went to shit. And nobody paying attention to Larry Merchant or Jim Lampley. When
the cancer game.
When Floyd was out there killing the game, and Floyd was giving you the best boxing you've ever seen, especially in this generation, it was a problem. When this cat Lomachenko started to get a little buzz, everybody thought he was the best thing, since sliced bread. So as far as with Larry Merchant, I'm not trying to hear what he's talking about, because honestly, man, Deontay Wilder brought the heavyweight division back, to
100. Back to life. Focus on that, because it's all about the best versus the best.
Facts. And this is what happens when the best fight the best, man. Like, you're gonna get L's. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna win, exactly. Somebody's gonna lose. But as far as the impact, and that's what I've been talking about this all week, for somebody to lose a fight and be talked about 10 times more than the actual person who's the champion, how can you tell me that, he's not great, or, he's the so-called possible, last great heavyweight? See, the problem with Jim Lampley, he's been waiting his whole life, to spew the little bullshit that he just said, but he couldn't, because he lived in the era of Ali, he lived in the era of Tyson, he lived in the era of Floyd. He lives in the era of Mike
Crawford, Errol Spence.
June. Say again?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. He lived in eras where he saw, great fighters that were black. So he, it ain't like he could have, he had a white hope, but it never came through.
And y'all talking about Larry
It never
Merchant
came.
too, because I think he said Jim Lampley.
Right.
Yeah, Jim Lampley was looking for the same thing. But with
I
that,
said both.
huh?
I said both. I started with Larry Merchant, and I also mentioned Jim Lampley, but they're both in the same breath. Brian Kenny too. None of them know boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been at all these boxing events and still don't know boxing. Like, or if you do know boxing, you obviously have an agenda that you're trying to push, which is like you're trying to put a white heavyweight name, you know, as the face of boxing, and it's never gonna happen, bro. Because like, y'all, like, as long as there's black fighters around, you know, it is what it is, bro. Black and Mexicans are always gonna run boxing. Period. Yeah. It's been like that since the beginning. It's gonna stay like that. And every now and then you'll have a really good white boxer, but the face is always gonna be a black or a Mexican. It's just how it is.
Yeah, and just to clear up, you know, it ain't about race according to Tyson Fury. You know, Tyson Fury is not being racist and none of that. It's nothing had to do with Tyson Fury. Is what Larry said. You know, he brought it up to the table. We didn't even bring it up. Larry just, you know, out of nowhere, he said he been smiling ever since because, you know, he believed Deontay Wilder is the last black hope. However, you remember what they did with Jim Jeffrey. They brought him out of retirement. It's one thing if Tyson Fury is reigning for years. He's reigning for years. Let's say he was from the U.S. Let's say this scenario. Let's say he was from the U.S. Tyson Fury was knocking out everyone like he was Tyson, the original Mike. And it got to a point where they told Deontay Wilder, who retired 50-0, they were like, you know what? Come out of retirement and knock out Tyson Fury for us because we need a black hope. He done knocked out all of the top black fighters for the past 10 years. And then Wilder was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to come out of retirement. And he got knocked out. Then, you know, it will make sense if you say something like that. But if you say something like that when it's for the first time in history happened, and now that they made the Rocky movie come to fruition, now you like, man, I've been smiling ever since. Like, it happens every day, B. Come on, man. So with that being said, we already know what time it is with Larry. He did it with Floyd Mayweather. I remember the time when Floyd Mayweather would fight. He would criticize Mayweather not being too exciting. His next fight, he will be exciting, and it'd be the fight of the year. He will say, oh, well, there's no asses in the seats. And then next fight, we see what Floyd Mayweather became, Money May. He became the superstar in the game, proving him wrong. He still won't give him his credit. He'd be like, oh, he a born fighter. You know, he boxes around. But when Vasyl Lomachenko does the same thing, they talking about, oh, well, Vasyl Lomachenko, he got skills. They always try to focus on the negative. And and Floyd Mayweather proved Larry wrong every single time, man. And he never gave him his props. Jim Lampley, Larry, Brian Kenny, y'all could go back and watch his interviews with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather proved him wrong every single time. Every time he said he was ducking someone, the next day he showed up and showed out and went back on the show. So with that being said, man, appreciate it talking to you, Real Rap. Always great rapping it up with you. And, you know, I'm going to keep the show rolling.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right, 100. Appreciate the insight.
And I still want to talk to T-Tone. T-Tone, call
T-Tone, where you at?
You know, drop your area code so I know who you is.
He did.